Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to another segment of Code Gurbani's a-sabad-a-day. The recitation continues from a-sabad-a-day, composition of the fifth Nanak Guru Arjan, and the recitation first. a-sabad-a-day, Digan Dola taulo jo man ke parma, Param kaate gure apne pae bisrama. Oe bikhadi dokhiya te gur te hutte, Hum chutte ab unah te, oe hum te chutte rao. मेरा तेरा जानता तब ही ते बंदा, गुर काटी अज्ञानता तब छुटके फंदा. जब लग हुक्म न बूझता तब ही लो दुखिया, गुर मिल हुक्म पछाणिया तब ही ते सुखिया. ना को दुश्मन दोखिया ना ही को मंदा, गुर की सेवा सेव को नानक खस में बंदा. ना को दुश्मन दोखिया ना ही को मंदा, गुर की सेवा सेव को नानक खस में बंदा. So the Guru here is instructing us on how to steady the mind, because the mind by nature is wavering, is unstable, and constantly churning. And that is the source of our existential angst. That is what causes us anxiety. That is what causes us to be in a delusion of what reality is. So the Guru instructs us in this passage. He says, Digan Dola taulo jo man ko parma. As long, Digan is to fall, corrupt. Dola is to waver. Taulo, up until then, jo man ke parma. As long as the mind is in delusion, it remains unstable and wavering. In practical terms, what that means is it is always tempted. It cannot focus. It doesn't have clarity. It's riddled with doubt. It doesn't know which direction to move in. These are we are all familiar with these behaviors of the mind. So, as long as you're in this state, and the Guru calls it delusion, your mind is going to remain wavering. Param kaate gur apne pae bisrama. You need to steady your mind, pae bisrama. And how is that going to happen? Steadiness of mind, focus will come when gur wisdom dispels your delusion. Param kaate gure apne, through the Guru. What is the delusion? The delusion is that of the ego. To think that you are an independent, isolated, autonomous center of experience, which you are not. And to be in ego, to be in an ego consciousness, is to live with prejudice. The past is to be tied to the past in some very important sense. And that is what binds you. That is what holds you. So that's the illusion that the Guru dispels. Oe bikhadi dokhiya te gur te huta. Hum chute ab unate, oe hum te chuta. This is the essence of this passage in the Rahao. Oe bikhadi. Oe, them. Bikhadi, quarrelsome, vicious. Dokhiya, adversaries. Te gurte hutte. Te gurte hutte. Oe bikhadi. The vicious adversaries Who are the adversaries? In Gurbani, they are referred to as the five thieves, the passions, Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Ahankar. They are the ones that toss our mind about. Oye bikhadi dokhiya te gurte hate. So these quarrelsome, vicious adversaries, which is a reference to passions, will leave us hute through the grace of Gur wisdom. And the Guru is actually declaring, Hum chute ab unate, I am now free of them. Oye humte chute, and they have run away from me through Gur wisdom. So we have to turn to Guru wisdom if we are to have a chance of stilling the mind first, because that is the basic requirement. You can't see clearly anything as long as your mind is sort of being tossed about. And now the Guru tells us another angle on this, on why the mind is the way it is. Mera tera janata tab hi te banda. This bondage is rooted in the notion of mera tera, mine and yours, this separation that we just talked about, that I am autonomous, that I'm separate from the person in front of me, because the ego does this, you see. The ego has to navigate time, space, so it creates this illusion. But in fact, there is none. And this is the realization that one has to dawn upon the mind. So, mera tera janta tabhi te banda, as long as you live in this illusion of mine and yours, you will not be free. Banda, you will be bound. Gur kati agyanata, tab chutke fanda. Tab chutke fanda. Fanda is a noose. Chutke is to be free of that noose of ignorance. Gur kati, through Gur wisdom. Jab lag hukam na bujta tab hi lo dukhiya. So what does Gur wisdom do? It gives you insight into hukam. You have to understand how hukam plays out in this universe. The universe is hukam, but how does it play out? So until you recognize that, you're going to stay in the state of ignorance, and it is Gur wisdom that gives you insight into what hukam is. Gur mil hukam pachhaneya, tab hi te sukhiya. So there is this connection, there is this link and a dependence. Gur wisdom is the channel, because Gur wisdom comes from hukam. It is hukam that is giving you that insight. Gur wisdom, the Gur is not separate from hukam. It's all one continuum. Gur is just the channel that communicates with us on what hukam is. And what does Gur wisdom tell us? Na ko dusman dokhiya, na hi ko manda. There are no adversaries, there is no enemy, there is no opposition, essentially. Gur ki seva sevako, nanak khasme banda. The one who performs Gur ki seva, in other words, one who imbibes the teachings of the Guru, khasme banda, is a true devotee. So essentially, what we see here is Gur wisdom, or the Gur principle of knowledge, that channel, is a link to making us realize what hukam is. So hukam is the link between the individual and the cosmic process. What is in the cosmic process is also within the being. Jo Brahmande, Soi Pinde. So one has to actualize the cosmic process within ourselves. We are particular, specific instances of hukam. So we have to actualize hukam in thought, word, and deed. So we have to understand what hukam is. And hukam, just as a hint here, is perpetual change. It's relentless change. So if one recognizes this, then one frees oneself from hanging on to the past, which ties us down. So one has to be open to perpetual change. One has to be creating all the time. One has to be creative, you see? This is just a hint. Think about it. Hukam is perpetual change. So therefore, you must actualize perpetual change. You can't hang on to the past. Just a hint. Waheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji ki Fateh.